Hello. We had 6 flosses. It's perfect. The exact number of flosses that you want. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I've done some cleanup since yesterday. Moved some functions around, got rid of an entire class, added some new classes to kind of store some of the extra stuff from that. So we have one less global class completely, which is good. And the power went out. And it was weird. So I opened up the file in, so you've got a couple different types of files in the Godot project. Like, we deal a lot with these, like, code files. And those are just text files. Like, that's it. That was fine. But every single, like, scene file that I had open, when I pulled the computer back up and tried to reopen it, it said, like, oh, there's a problem with this scene, can't be opened. I was like, that's weird. So let me show you what those files look like in, let's open this up. This is the weird thing. This is what these files look like. They're just a list of objects and properties. Like, it's ASCII. It's human readable. It's blocked out, but you can clearly see it's like, okay, there is a node that is called left. It is a node 3D, and its parent is hotspot. It's stuff like that. For some reason, every single scene file that I happened to have open at the time that the power got cut, every character was replaced by, like, a null character. I have no idea how that happened. So I'm being much more aggressive in my source control. I'm checking in more frequently. Yeah, it was not good, but it's fine. I didn't really lose that much. Again, all the code changes were still there. It was just like the scenes, specifically, I think there were only like 4 or so. So it would be like this scene was gone. So it's like the code that controls it is still there, but like the layout of there is a panel with a sprite and another sprite and a label and a label and a label. That much was lost, and so I had to rebuild that. So it's not exactly how it was, probably. It's a little different. The color, for one thing. But yeah, it's fine. I did a little bit of mixing things around on the battle code. The result is that we got, like, this is our entire, like, make a menu, and then when we get a response back, here's what you do. If you pick the first option, do this. Second option, this. Third option, this. So let's look at that a little bit more closely here. Battle moves.gearspin.action.call from player to enemy. That's it. Oh, nice. Well, that should be fun, Theron. And congratulations to Dooku on the wedding that Theron is going to. Little Toadette's been a little bit iffy tonight. Just improv it. Yeah, that's fine. Congratulations, Dooku. So battle moves. This is now tentatively. This is where we're gonna store every move in the game, like every different type of attack you can do. It is. I'm still not 100% sure on timed hits and how those are gonna do. When are we going to play Factorio again? October 21st, or whatever stream is about that time. Oh, October 21st is a Monday. We're gonna play on October 21st. I saw a screenshot of Factorio, of a modded Factorio playthrough today, and I was tempted. I was eyeing it like, what if I just started a space exploration playthrough or a Crastorio 2 playthrough? You know, just for fun. And I know exactly why I shouldn't do that, because then I wouldn't do any of this. A pre-update session to refamiliarize ourselves? I mean, it's like riding a bike. But we'll see, we'll see. Going on vacation, congratulations, Dave. Just a little bit of Factorio as a treat. Just a crumb of heroin. Also, Battle Actions is a new class I've got. And this is for the things that moves are made of. These are the building blocks of moves, such as Sprite needs to move over here, set a flag, wait for a condition, wait a set amount of time, anything like that. So yeah, Battle Manager is going to be kind of the main one where we're going to keep the game loop there. Right now, we have this this system right here keeps track of our action queues, which is like these small, it's a list of these building blocks, such as, hey, I have on my list, my to-do list, that I need to move this sprite over, have the sprite jump into the air, wait for the sprite to land, deal damage to the player, and move the sprite back to where it started. And once all that's done, then I can proceed to the next step. So that's what this system does right here, is just loop through that. We're gonna have another system that is zoomed out. So we've got this subsystem that is like, here is how one move is done. We're gonna have this larger system that is basically gonna be the same type of architecture, but instead of just managing these small pieces, it's gonna manage actual turn order and events in battle. So this is gonna be things like player takes all of their turns, then enemy side takes all of their turns, then player side takes all of their turns, basically back and forth for now. But it's going to get more complex because we need to do things like when that side starts, we have to process status effects like poison damage, or does a status effect expire, that kind of stuff. What's the input scheme? Currently keyboard, but controller is going to be the intended input. Keyboard is allowed. Mouse is. I'm gonna do my best to just kind of ignore mouse entirely. It is meant to be a controller game. I could see some weird stuff happening with mouse, not like in gameplay wise, but I could see somehow some UI element like reacting to mouse input when it shouldn't be or something. But yeah, my goal is controller. So yeah, battle actions, that's mostly just going to be process status effects and turn order, and that's it. Or sorry, the new one that we're going to build. So here's what we have right now. Wow, look at all those frogs. Right now you can't even like this isn't a player specific menu here. This is just our debug menu of I want this thing to happen and then this thing to happen. I did wire up HP, so that does go down to 9 when we get hit. Hey, casual. Pow. So that works. It's not the best, but it works. Hope you're doing well, casual. Also, something important that I did. Two things that are subtly important. Originally, all the enemies had their normal collision, which meant if the second guy in line was trying to walk towards the player, he would get stuck on the front guy and just not be able to do it. I turned off their collision. They still collide with the floor, but not with each other. That is important. Additionally, these guys are now offset very slightly depth-wise, so that this guy on the far right is close to the camera, and this guy on the far left is slightly further back to the camera. It's a difference of like 0.1 unit. So it's like a tenth or so of the distance between two neighbors. Have a cold game here? Not really. It looks nice, but there's not anything actually happening. Yeah, you can barely see it, but that is important for purposes of like this. You want player to be on top. So that's important. Also, we have 5 frogs now. It's a huge scene though, and it still doesn't even work. You still can't even do a battle. Yeah, once it's working, I would be very interested, like in a proper playthrough, like maybe a blind playthrough. Why are the townsfolk attacking Robot? Because they're the only NPC I have completed. That's why. That is literally why. In a proper playthrough, I wonder how much time is spent in the battle scene versus, you know, running around solving puzzles and talking to people. But like when you break down these games, it really is battle, exploration, talking. Haha, because you see, that's what playtests are for. There you go. Okay, so let me pull up my list of what I meant to do. We do want to pretty up the scene a bit, make some icons maybe. I wonder if we should get into actually making the actual looping system for the battle order. So what the architecture that we're talking about is something called a finite state machine, or something very close to it. It's a flavor of that. Whereas in normal code, you say do this, then do this, then do this. A finite state machine is something you can build with code, but instead it is done in a way of the game is currently doing this thing, and when a certain condition is met, it jumps over into this other state. And there are a finite number of states, and they connect to each other based on certain rules. Completely unrelated. Yay, Inu! You came here at the perfect time! Yeah! Finite state machine champ? So we have a small finite state machine of sorts, meant for handling like the bare bones. Yes, it's for Flying Spaghetti Monster. Pow. So the idea is that these actions are complex and hard to nail down in like a single animation. I mean, this one's pretty straightforward, but still. And so we divide them up into steps. And that's what we have in battle moves here. This is the current iteration. It may need some work at some point in the future. Definitely will need a little bit of love. But the idea is, all right, the first action is we want to move our attacker, the robot, in front of the target, the frog. Then, when this condition is satisfied, which is not specified here, it's specified in the actual function itself. When the condition is specified, our state machine processor says, okay, I can take this out, I'm going to move on to the next step. So it's not entirely a true finite state machine. We're using it more of a queue, but it is state machine like in that it is a series of bound actions which independently manage their state and keep track of when they are in progress or complete. If I were doing this in C#, there would definitely be an abstract base class that says each of these has to specify its initialization method, its processing, and it has to override a function. Yeah, very event handler like. Has to specify a function that declares whether or not it is complete or not. But we are not doing C#. We are trying to learn the actual built-in GD script, which is very Python-like, and it's very loose with classes. So it's harder to enforce. So we're just trying to be careful as we build this system without the safety net that abstracts would normally provide. It's working okay for now. When we end up refactoring, it's going to be a little bit annoying. And I'm leaning more and more towards I should have done C# instead of the built-in language. But it's important to learn new things. So we have all of these little actions that we can call upon, like move actor to a location. Well, pump your velocity towards it, and once you get close enough, then we are done, and then we can fall into the next step. So we're going to build another processor that, instead of doing these individual building blocks, which we're calling battle actions, we're going to build one that actually manages turn order. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So instead of battle action being these little pieces that are as simple as wait a set amount of time, or move this actor over here, or spawn this sprite, these are going to be bigger things, such as process status effects, like deduct damage from poison, increment, decrement counters, anything like that, and then actually requesting that each unit take their turn. So this is also going to be some kind of queue system where things can be tacked on to the end. Like once it gets empty, that's like new round begins. But it will start with an initialized setup of here's the things that happen before combat. Then here are the things that happen every round. Players do these things, enemies do these things, repeat. So each of these events is going to be our... Maybe we go with battle event? Yeah, we could do battle event. Now, action queue is actually a list of lists. It's not obvious. Because I did not ever bother to do that. Because things can happen independently. For instance, if an enemy gets knocked out, we don't want to wait for their death animation to play before the player walks back to their home position. We want these things to process independently. And then once all of the queues, once this entire list of queues has been emptied out, then we consider the action complete and we move on to the next turn. So this comes to mind for anybody who's really been enjoying Germdove's Tears of the Kingdom playthrough and is equally interested in seeing other people play the game. I will point out that Inu has been playing through Tears of the Kingdom lately, and it's been a whale of a time. Nobody says that unless there's an actual whale involved, and there is not an actual whale involved, but I just wanted to point out that for some reason that phrase is only used when a whale is involved. So perhaps it would have made more sense to say a doggone good time. But I wanted to subvert expectations. We're going to call these events and have a single... We should have a single Event queue. F. Day paid respects. Zelda Dungeon. Ooh. I mean, oh man, I really would have said O and F. Huh. For the next forever, it goes. It just goes and goes. It seems enormous for a while, and then it suddenly doesn't. And that's okay. But you definitely get to a point where you're like, oh, I know where everything is now. My favorite part of Tears of the Kingdom was maybe something that a lot of people didn't enjoy. I liked that it was a sequel and that it was a world I was familiar with. Feels a little less dense. I think part of that might have been because they had to pull things out in different directions a bit. But I get what you mean. I did replay Breath of the Wild end to end right before Tears of the Kingdom came out, specifically so I'd be fresh on it. I knew it had to be something, preposition the something. My mind was jumping to bottom of the well, but that was a really fun thing. Is like having all these fresh memories of the Breath of the Wild world, and then coming back in Tears of the Kingdom and being like, oh, I wonder what such and such NPC is up to. Oh, I gotta go check in on this person and that person. It was fun. It was fun. Event queue is gonna be a list of events. So we're gonna have a new node that's gonna store that code for events. And these, again, are going to be independent, like the actions. These are going to be independent systems that will be complete. But being completed is not enough for it to proceed on to the next step. Which I'm wondering if I should move this processor from the manager. This process battle actions system. I wonder if that should be moved out of here and just let that happen in. Let's just move that to the battle actions class, like the actual processing for it. Two ways around this. I could reference the actions. I could move the action queues here. This is going to be tricky. Okay, battle actions. Let's move the actual action queues here. And that's okay there. And then in our manager system, we will just look at those like that. And that's just one less function that we worry about in our manager. Second raid while offline anyway. It'll move everyone over and confuse the person you're double raiding. Oh, that's fun. Good to know. Let's see. Thing that made me curious what the timeline of the two games choosing can clearly some kind of divergent world line. It's like you could argue that they are separate timelines, probably. I can think of a few reasons that you could very strongly argue for that. But I think it's very much heavily implied that it's supposed to be same timeline, some amount of months or years. Oh, it's got to be years. It's got to be years. I just thought of an NPC that doesn't exist in the first game, who is a child in the second game. I hate that so much. I I understand. I've got a pretty good idea why they wanted to take it all out. Because this game isn't about that stuff. So Divine Beast, gone. All of the Guardians except for one set piece Guardian that's on a building. Because I guess they didn't want to model that terrain. So distracting. I am a little bit miffed that they got rid of it entirely. And the shrines, I could get, you know, oh, whoa, I'm a new player. I never even played Breath of the Wild. What are all these things? I want to figure out what the mystery of them is. Like, yes, that would be weird, but it's fine. It's really fine. Divine Beast can still be there. Just just make them not really do it. Have an NPC there that's like interested in them. Give them a little bit of flavor text, but no plot significance. That's fine. Old scientist lady. Yeah. Okay. Let's make sure this is still working. I might have broken something. Yes, I did. Because it's looking at action cues that don't exist. So not battle manager dot action cues. It's battle manager. Oh no, dot battle action. No, it's battle actions dot, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, that's fine though. Okay, does that work? Pow. Ooh! Exploded. Right. Anywhere the action cues is. Oh, that's just self. Anywhere that action cues is. Okay. Maybe. Just doing a little bit of tidying up. Okay. Everything seems to be back to normal. Cool. So now, based on that, let's have an event queue that we process through. That is going to be very similar to our action queue, but we're just going to have one. We're just going to have the one. Let's see here. If event queue dot size is greater than 0, then call it, and then remove it if it's done. That's it. Process battle events. And in the same way we do battle actions here, we're going to reference battle events here. Imagine if it had been Bomberman 64. Gosh, I love Bomberman 64. Purpad, that's just a Sheikah Slate. Get out of here. It really was. It really was. Oh my gosh, if they do, and they might, if they do a third game in the series, they're gonna have to pull this same song and dance again, and it's gonna get really old. People are gonna start to really be annoyed by it, the ones that aren't already. It's like, oh, now we have a third pad, and also there's a third ancient race that we haven't talked about yet, and also all of the second ancient race's ancient technology is gone now. Even deeper underground. That's the way to do it. Oh man. The underground is fun. It's a very good do sideways world. It's like those Minecraft custom maps, like the dropper maps, where you jump down through a massive sideways world. Try not to land on things. It's cool. The underground stuff, it's a callback that I like to the classic Zelda formula that they really started doing on Super Nintendo with Link to the Past. And I think it's it's a good system that works well and makes for some interesting puzzles. Yeah, Mirror Realm, Two Worlds. They did Dark World. They did past and present, or present and future. They did seasons. They did They did past and present. They did. What else have they done? You know what? Twilight Princess was so-so on that. They kind of half did it there. It was the world's the same. It's just you're a wolf or you're not a wolf. Oh, that's a good point. Waterworld, they did not really do it in Wind Waker, did they? Zelda in space. I would love for them to just really screw with the theming. Like they keep going halvesies with the like, oh, ancient technology. No, go full on technology. Train World. Yes, I want to see more stuff like that. Take that to the extreme. Give me full steampunk Zelda. Give me cyberpunk Zelda. Give me diesel punk Zelda. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see them do. That they have shown that they can do some really cool things, and I want to see it done in like a really different setting. Make Epona a motorcycle. You cowards. All right, events. We're gonna have a system that after we process battle actions, we're going to do battle moves. Process battle moves. No. Is that? No. What did I call it? Not battle moves. No, battle events. We're doing battle events. Process battle events. And that's going to end up handling this stuff about the test menu. Once we get to it. Okay, so what are our events? I guess we need some kind of system for refreshing the events. Or initializing, or I don't know, some kind of turnover. Wind Waker was fun. The Master Gun. Yeah, well, you know what? Tunic. Those goats were aliens, so maybe it was very alien-esque, but it's still basically just the sufficiently advanced technology kind of stuff. It's like, it's magic. Don't worry about it. That's all. They were really more described as like celestial beings of some sort. His daily dose of hearing his voice at 2 a.m. Yeah, I would like for them to mess with the setting a bit more. But they've got so many staples. It feels like they're still allowed to mess with Zelda. A little bit, right? Like, Mario is... No. This is exactly what Mario is. This is the exact locations he's allowed to visit. End of discussion. But Zelda, I feel like they can kind of mess with that a little bit. Zelda Metroid crossover. A Metroid Zeldia? Let's see here. All right, so every turn, all right, we are going to need access to the battle actions. Similar to what we had, or the battle manager. in our event system. So we need to make sure that we set that up. Battle events. Battle manager. Okay, so now we have access to the battle manager in our event system. Let's get rid of these because I keep accidentally opening them. There we go. 2 files. An archipelago. Peach abducts Bowser. They'll never be allowed to do that. They are not allowed to do that. Every Mario game may have one temporary new people to interact with, and that's it. And one guide character. You get one guide and one new people. Odyssey felt like it was the most they had been allowed to like kind of mess with setting for a long time. Okay. Initialize turn. Units. Player side units. Is that what we called that? Yeah, player side unit and enemy side units. We're gonna give everyone a turn. So our event queue is everyone gets a turn. So let's see here. This is gonna be a little bit tricky. Player turn almost needs to be its own weird thing. Yeah. Enemy turn, each one can be processed independently, I think. But player turn, that's a little different because player is allowed to swap order of partner and player, and so and there could be other shenanigans afoot. So let's have a process player turn system, and that is actually going to be where we're going to do this part here. They'll never let you do it. Peach isn't allowed to snap. Peach will never get as much character as she got in Thousand Year Door. She got full-on character. She had a range of emotions. She was able to like do some heroics. She had to get naked a lot. It was weird. Make Mario the villain. That's what. Yeah, she was disrobed. 1 brain cell. That's all we get. The same cool Link we have, but Sally Cat for me. All right, yeah. Why not? No, Thousand Year Door is the best Peach we're ever gonna get. And that's it. Never visibly, but sometimes clearly nude, but invisible. You see, clearly nude. Okay, so battle action dot menu. If it's the player's turn, okay, so let's do this. If we do not process this if there is anything in the action queue, if there's any action queues. If battle manager action queue dot size is greater than 0, then we're not allowed to do anything. Fall out immediately. She did giggle while taking a shower, yeah. Intelligent Systems, I think, was the developer. But gosh, it was like they didn't have to do that at all. It was a little contrived. It was like, oh, Peach is gonna sneak through the enemy facility, and the base's computer is gonna help her. The base's computer has given her instructions on making an invisibility potion. Peach takes the invisibility potion. Her clothes do not disappear. Oh no, what are we gonna do? It's like, you contrived this scenario. You could have just as easily made her invisible. But you, like, clothes and all, but you didn't. You went out of your way to do this, Intelligent Systems. I see you. I know what you're doing. It was so contrived. And then they even changed the sound effect of her walking around so that it's not the heels anymore. It's the bare feet. Like, that's a little detailed. That's a little detailed, guys. I don't know about this. Anyway. All right. Player turn. Player turn begins with looking for battle manager.menu. Is instance valid? Is that what we're looking for? Oh, and if size is, if size of event queue is equal to 0, then we need to initialize, like reinitialize our turns. And we start with process player turn. Dot bind no parameters. Okay, so we're binding these function calls so that we can actually call the individual functions from the queue with their parameters already attached. That worked really well with the action queue. We're gonna stick with that for the event queue and see if it works. All right, so if we get into this function and there is no menu, then gosh golly, we better create one. Oh, is it battle actions.menu? Well, that's fine. Is it battle actions? Is that where we're storing the menu? That is not where we're storing the menu. No. It's just in the manager, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, action queue. That's where. Okay. Battle manager.menu. Create test menu. And then after that, that menu is going to delete itself once something is selected. This is probably going to get some rework when we do submenus, but for now, I think this will work. So it deletes itself. And then menu, let's create test menu. We don't need that anymore. However, create test menu is part of Battle Manager for now. And then that gets connected to selection made, which is here on test menu selection made. Pops into selection index. So we need some way of being able to trigger if it's done. That's a good point. I was thinking he might need a hat at some point. Like, there could be a whole gag about, oh, well, Robot's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. We better put you in a disguise, and then they just give him a hat, and then that's it. And then we never address it ever again. Add 100 hats. Now we're talking. You just keep on adding hats. Alright, so what's the difference between not started and done here? Instead of badges, you wear hats. Dozens of them. See, there's a system idea right there. Maybe process player turn, we split into initialize player turn and wait for player turn complete. No, that's probably a terrible idea. Well, it might not be a terrible idea. See, I know exactly how I would want to do this in C#, but we're not doing C#. So when we start the player turn, that's always just create test menu. And then wait for player turn end. Sure, for now, I guess. It's gonna be weird. Okay, I guess this will work. Okay, so that would be our end, and then let's have a dummy function here that just prints, and that's it. Just so we can successfully see. Oop. Doesn't like battle action. No, it's battle manager. It's just battle manager. Okay, so we should see. Oh, we're seeing a lot of that. So it's just processing through this. It's just churning through it. Ah, not. Towering Pillar of Hats. I love a Towering Pillar of Hats. Okay, so right now we don't see anything in our log here. So I'm going to select an option, do the action, pow, and then, oh no, then it goes crazy. Why is it just, oh, because I forgot to return true, so it gets stuck on that step. All right, try it again. Bop, bop. We should see it exactly once. Pow, and then turn restarts. We pick an action, and then turn restarts. Okay, okay, good. Good. Progress there. Okay, so we have the bones of this event queue for the order of turns. Yippee! All right, so for each enemy unit, they're going to get their own specialized action. Enemy turn. Which is basically just going to be immediately select an action and put it in the queue and then return true. So we need to actually make... Okay, so this one actually takes an enemy unit as a parameter. So this is where the bind comes into play, because we can actually plop that right in there, and it will process that parameter as we expect it to. This is going to come in somewhere, but not yet. Okay. Enemy unit. Currently, we do this. So we need to actually select a player as a target. And right now that's just the one. We're just going to hard code it in as first thing on the player side. And then we're going to call to action enemy hop. So we need access to battle moves, which we can We can reach that through Battle Manager. That's an ugly chain, but it works. Do an enemy hop from the enemy unit to the player unit. And that should be it. I'm going to want less frogs to test this. So we initialize our units right here, where I just have a range of frogs. Let's just have 3 frogs. All right, I want to see all 3 of those frogs attack me right now. Everybody ready? Everybody ready for 3 frogs? We're gonna see 3 frogs. So first, player's gonna pick an action, and then one after the other, all 3 frogs should attack me. Not in unison. They should wait until the previous frog is back into the lineup. And then after all 3 frogs have attacked, I should be presented with a menu that requests my next action. Here we go. Come on. Oh, that looks promising. That looks very promising. Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. All right. And now we have a menu back. That is basically a battle. We can't select a target. It's hard-coded. We can't defeat them. They can't defeat us. Nothing happens when you run out of HP. Oh my gosh, we've done it. That said, we should be allowed to select an opponent here. Menus are about to get complicated. Incredible. I think the numbers will just go into negatives. But there's no listener for what happens when you get to 0 or anything. So it's just going to keep counting down. Haha, I'm undefeatable. At some point, we're going to have to do blocks. We're going to have to add in like action commands for blocking or guarding. And I'm on the fence on how to handle Super Guard. There's a few very good ways that it can be handled. For anyone who doesn't know, in the Paper Mario series, at least the good ones, you have, I don't know exactly how many frames for guarding. Imagine a boss fight phase 2S gimmick where they just get negative HP. And it's like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, we do need health bars at some point for enemies, for when they're tattled upon. In the early Paper Mario games, you had, let's say, a 4-frame window for you press the block button, and then for the next 4 frames, if you get hit, you take 1 less damage. And there's a cooldown on that, so you can't just spam the button. You have to actually try to time it. So, forgiving enough. But you can press a different button to do a Super Guard, which has only, I think, a 2-frame window. So much tighter, but instead of just reducing damage by 1, Super Guard instead makes you take no damage, and you damage the enemy back by 1 point. So it's supposed to be a bit of risk-reward, but in practice, it's extremely overpowered. Once you get good at Super Guarding, like as a good player, the challenge of the game is gone because you can Super Guard everything and take no damage. Killing replay difficulty. Requiring you have to do like weird challenge run stuff to make it viable to have a challenge. Bug Fables does an interesting thing. There is only 1 button for it, but depending on how accurate your press is, you block either 1 damage or 2 damage. This is good because you are never completely removing damage. Like once you get to enemies that deal more than 2 damage, you're still going to take a little bit of something. So you have to still play strategically. Good, good. It's all one button. This is, I'm a little on the fence there. I get it. You don't have to commit to a super guard. You're just trying to do as best as you can. So it's all right. There is a mod for Thousand Year Door. Actually, I think this feature is used in a few different mods. I don't know if it has a specific name, but it changes the super guard so that it actually costs a bit of resources to attempt, or maybe just to succeed at a super guard. Maybe attempting is free, but if you succeed, it deducts some of your star points. That's an interesting system where super guard is allowed, but it's gonna cost you. That seems well balanced to the expert player, but not to the new player. And so I'm not 100% sure of what we want to do on that. Okay. We need to have a new menu. Alright. So let's move back into Battle Manager. Actually, you know what? Before we do anything, let's commit our code, just in case. For anybody who didn't hear, I had a power flicker last night due to a thunderstorm in the next town over or something, and Godot does not like that happening. The code files were fine, but the scene files, any scene files that I had open, even if I had not recently edited them at all, they were destroyed. It was bad. So I had to, luckily I've got it under source control, so I didn't lose much, but ooh, that's scary. If anyone out there, this is a special message to anyone who is doing game dev, even if it's just a little for funsies hobby project, just get some source control going. GitHub is fine. GitHub is fine. It's really easy. And just every time you finish working on it, after like an hour or so, just check your code in, commit your code. You can just have a nice little private branch. Doesn't have to be pretty or organized or even have a README. Just check your code in so it's stored somewhere other than on your computer. Because, oh my gosh, that could have been so much worse. All right. Turn this right here, test menu. Okay, so this was just our dummy test menu here. So we're not going to have this anymore. So we still want to have a handler, but oh, can we connect to a lambda? I bet we can. I bet we can connect to a lambda and have this be a single function instead of having a whole separate function for this. Maybe. I guess I can get you some cashews. Chat, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm gonna get some cashews.
I don't know how that creeper followed me. Because there should have been no floor for it.
No, sorry.
Oops.
I may have explained the trapdoors poorly. They always see trapdoors as solid. And will therefore try...
They'll walk right in and fall.
You want to try that again? Out of 27, And there's no way I'm getting all of those, of course. I think that last I checked, only about 40 people have managed to. Okay. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Okay. Only about 40. We're back. Get out of here. Dabble with sign. Yeah, I think this would work. I want to find an instance where I'm using a lambda. Let me see if I can find this sample code. Lambda with a signal. Okay, so just be something like this is gonna get ugly. Hang on. Is this the best idea? Okay. Nope, doesn't like that. Oh. That? Okay. I hate indentation based. Oh, well, it didn't print. Didn't print at all. Maybe it's got to match the parameter count. Yes. Okay. That got it. Okay, so you can do it in line. Huh. So you could have like the test menu would already know what the unit is, and there'd be some sub menu for selecting a target though. And that's fine. So you could do something like this. Like this. It's a little rough. But it is one single menu. Now, admittedly, these are going to be dynamic at some point. Which all the more reason for them to be in a single function, because there can be one variable here for the list of items, and they can be each item is mapped to a move. Okay, that kind of works. That works. All right, so this should work normally then. Yeah, cool. Okay. Gosh, I want to play Factorio again. But I can't. That will destroy any chance I have of making any progress on this ever. Forever. Okay. We need a system for selecting a viable target. So you select your attack, and then you have to select a target. Different attacks will have different viable targets, and that we can define in the move function, like what kind of things you are able to attack. Now this is not ruling out things like jumping on a spiky enemy, which I don't even think Dabble's going to have a jump attack, but this is things like, can this attack hit enemies that are in the air? Can this attack hit enemies that are in the ground? Anything like that. So we need some kind of restriction list that we can check against. Targetable. I mean, the obvious one right now is that the gear spin attack should only be able to hit first grounded enemy. And that's like it. Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So let's start with that. Let's add a restriction property here, and let's just do string for now. Maybe this will key into an. Should we do an enum? I'm trying to think about the different types of restrictions that I've seen in other games. You could have like enemies that are completely underground. That's kind of like, you know, your anti-flying enemies that are buried. Some attacks can still like flush them out. Flying enemy is an obvious one. First in line is an interesting one because first in line is, I guess, a restriction, sort of. I guess there's two types of restrictions we're looking at. Is like what enemies theoretically could be hit by and which ones can you reach. For example, what is an example? All right, 1,000-Year Door. Coops can hit any enemy on the ground, so there's some category for grounded. Hammer could hit any enemy on the ground. It's just that you are all right. Rephrase. There are two phases I'm looking at. One, are there any valid targets at all? Not just what are the valid targets, but are there any valid targets? That is for the purpose of, can you even select this option? Two, once you select that move, okay, now you get to pick a target. Should those use the same restriction? It would be easier that way to just have a first grounded. And then Star Toss, we're gonna say, well, let's just have blank. But yeah, first ground is basically just grounded, but also it's just a more strict version of grounded. If there are any grounded enemies, then there is a first grounded enemy. All right. So let's not get into whether or not you can select enemies. First, let's just let you select an enemy. So we create our test menu, which just gives us our options of, all right, which attack do you want? And then we pick an attack, and then we switch to a new menu. Which is going to be a little bit different. So we need a new menu. Oh, this is going to be weird. Oh, it's going to be weird. Okay. Func create targeting menu. This is going to take in the actual move, because that's going to give us, first off, it's going to give us the restriction. Second of all, it's going to give us the action once we confirm. Like, once we have confirmed what move we are using and who we are using it on, then we can call the action. Simple enough. So we want to take in the battle move. I guess we might want this. Let's move this into here now, because I think, well, we'll have it in both for now, but we are going to move that out completely. First off, we just want to have, you know, we're gonna get the enemy from the targeting menu, huh? Ooh, we're gonna have a list of viable targets. For now, for now, that can just be the list of all enemies. But we are probably going to have some array, some class level array that is a subset of our enemy units. And there will be a special case. I need to keep this in mind. Some attacks will just hit everyone. Like, there is no targeting. That needs to be a special case. Some attacks will only hit grounded enemies. That's a special case. That's another special case. Ooh, this gets interesting. This is an interesting puzzle then. So the targeting menu may be different based on the move. So the targeting menu is not just the target selection, it can also just be the confirmation menu in some cases. It's like I could maybe see moves that are hard-coded to say, you know, it's always going to hit the first 2 enemies or something weird like that. But I think it really is going to come down to the move may just include a set of enemies that it's always going to hit. For instance, in this move setup, let's say we've got a move that just hits all grounded enemies. Instead of having a restriction of first grounded, we could have a restriction of all grounded. And maybe restriction should be target. That makes more sense for this. What you can target or what you must target. So first grounded, yeah, it's the only thing you can hit. I think if there's a case where, yeah, I don't think there's any case where you can choose when there's a restriction. Yeah. Anytime you're going to hit more than one enemy, you don't get to pick which enemies. It's either like all the enemies in the air, all the enemies on the ground. It's not all the enemies on the left or all the enemies on the right. It's always all enemies in a category. So we'll have some kind of all grounded or something. Okay, so first grounded is a special case targeting. It's fine. Either way, we need to pull our list of targetable enemies. And that is going to be an array of battle units. We are going to set that up immediately. So as soon as we say create the targeting menu, we're going to do it. You see, this is going to be a little bit interesting, because we also want to calculate this before, like when we are creating this menu, because we need to determine whether or not there are any. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so what we'll do is let's have another function of get targetable units. Pass in the unit side and the battle move. And we'll return a subset of battle units. Targetable enemies is going to equal get targetable units. We'll take enemy side units and pass in the battle move. And then we'll do something with it. Get targetable enemies. Let's, for now, just say pass in, return just the first one. No. The first two. So that we have something to actually do with that. Something to process. Okay, so we grab the targetable enemies. I'm wondering if I should have a separate function for enemy targeting. This may get big enough. We'll see. For now it's fine. So we've got our list of targetable enemies, and now we're going to create a menu of that. Now we could load this combat menu, and that, for now, that's actually fine. Let's do it. Why not? Load in a combat menu. Add it on. Huh. What do we do with this? Oh, it's just current menu gets that. Is that what this does? Yeah, battle manager.menu. Okay, so we do need to return the menu after we create it. Got it. All right. So we're going to add in our options, which is our list of targetable enemies. So for enemy in our list of targetable enemies, for each one of those, we're just going to add in a menu item. I need an index here. So let's change this to range. Targetable enemies dot size. Enemy index. There we go. Perfect. And then when you make a selection, it's just we grab that enemy. So var enemy. We will take player as just, we're just going to assume that the player is doing the attacking for now. And we are pulling this out of targetable enemies. And boom. That should allow us. We're going to try this. So after you select a move, instead of actually doing it, instead of that, ooh, okay, hang on. Change this to menu scene. Yeah, just because that's a little bit, that makes more sense for this. Okay, menu scene. Test. We're just gonna add a test option here temporarily. Is this valid? Let's find out. Let's see if that actually works. Nope. Immediately failure. Trying to assign array of type array to array of battle unit. Does get targetable units not return an array of battle units? It certainly should. Wait, how do you specify a function's return type in GD script? Because I'm fairly certain that is what it's going to return. Hold on. GD script return type. Forward arrow. Forward arrow is what you do. So I need to just specify that this function does have a return type of array of battle units. Okay, target enemy 0. Okay, good. Now they're going to take their turn. It'd be fast for me to close this and restart it. These placeholder animations are a little long. Don't worry about it. Okay, now select enemy 1. Middle one. Oh my gosh, it works. Okay, now, admittedly, this is a placeholder menu. I'm just recycling the same menu we were using for like move selection. We are going to replace that with a new type of menu which does the same thing, but instead of having like a vertical drop down of selections that you can cycle through, it's going to actually display over the enemy units themselves with a nice little arrow icon that also displays their name. And if you have scanned the enemies, or whatever we end up calling it, then it will also display some stats like HP, power, defense, all the hot commodities. Okay, but that's really good that works. So we can actually just do this now. Battle moves dot gear spin and battle moves dot toss. Take this one out. Also, yeah, it's always doing gear spin. It should be doing the actual move. Okay, so now I should be able to choose any enemy. Well, any of those two enemies. Perfect. Hey, Hudson. How you doing? I need to make these guys move a little faster. These aren't even enemies. These aren't even going to be enemies in the game. All right, cool. So now we can pick enemies from either first or second, but that's it. It's a start. Also, right here, instead of this, let's have this. You can choose that or that, and then let's loop through them because that makes more sense. For move, in moves. Because we actually have these named and everything. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we have a move.cost. We don't actually have that. And that may be more complicated than we think. Put out early because it had a New Zealand release. Let's do it like 6 times today working on our review of it. Nice. Glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, cost may vary a little bit. Oh, welcome in, Charles. Game is going pretty good. Getting a handle on Godot here. It is we're still learning a bit, but it's coming along fine. Move.cost. We'll change the disabled flag later. Let's go with your mom, bring in those volunteer hours. Heck yeah. All right, so now what we'll do is right here, we can get rid of this if else entirely and just do moves sub selection index. Oh, GQ. It was. He was just in here. We were talking about Tears of the Kingdom a bit because he's playing through that. as you've seen. I've seen you chatting there. Okay, does this work? Yes. Okay, so now we can choose a move, choose an enemy, and then all the enemies attack. You might have. He might still be lurking about. Targetable enemies. Okay, so. Targetable enemy. We need to have some kind of flag to indicate whether an enemy is on the ground, in the air, all that stuff. Eventually. For now, we're not going to do that, and instead, we're just going to say if battle move dot target is blank, then just return the entire unit side. If battle move dot target is first grounded, oops, almost did the wrong thing there, then only return the first unit. A list of just the first unit. Okay. What are you gonna say? That's still not all code. Oh, that is true. Okay, admittedly, that is true.
GQ became very cross with Dobbs when he discovered that Dabble Tales is the story of a robot on a quest to save its cat that was carried away by a bird.
Always comes back to this stupid bird. Heck yes. Okay. So now the moves have different lists of enemies that they can target. Good stuff. The next thing is we need to make a new type of menu selection. Stupid bird. Always carrying off all these cats. They just can't keep getting away with it. Okay, hang on. Let's check this code in. Move targeting. Check it in. There was a power flicker yesterday. I lost some of the scenes. It was painful, and now I'm being extra careful on checking in code. Okay. Menus. Combat menu. So we have our main combat menu, which is just this right here. And that supports, I guess, limitless numbers of items. It only displays 6 at a time, because 6 seems like a good amount. But now we need a new type of menu. One that's going to point to the targets. That is going to be something. But it also needs to display the name and maybe the stats of that target. So we're going to call this combat target menu. All right, create new scene. It is control node, I guess. Not really. It's more of just a regular 2D scene, but whatever. Combat target menu. This one's going to be a little bit tricky. All right, let's start with let's just start with a pointer, and that's going to contain a sprite. I'm not going to make it just the sprite on its own, mostly because there's the possibility that, you know, we'll have other things attached to it, some little extra animations and such. But yeah, now we can move the pointer, and then just whatever we put under it is fine. I've been enjoying this pattern of just always have a container on things, because the details get a little bit hairier later on. And now we want to have a panel that is going to represent the name of the thing, of whatever you're selecting, and we'll have stats and stuff down here, but for now it can just be a panel that shows up, and that's it. All right, cool. Wow, we're done. No. Now we need to attach a script. I'm going to need to start putting subfolders on these. So let's look at the other menu script we have. Not for menu item. Combat menu.gd. Yeah, here we go. A signal for when you make a selection. Very important. We need to make sure that we have that we emit this signal whenever the player actually selects something. It's going to be similar. It's going to be really similar to this. But I don't want to copy paste it, but I kind of do. Like, selection index is basically the same thing. It's almost the same. Except we don't have... Yeah. It's close to the same thing. Some of this code is the same. Up-down inputs. Dang it. Part of me really wants to somehow pull this into its own separate class that we can reuse. Like, this code is exactly the same. This does not apply at all. This code is almost the same. And this code, there's some similarities. This code is not the same. Okay, there's a lot of differences. Admittedly, there's a lot of differences. We'll copy it, we'll paste it, we'll keep the stuff we need. Okay, no scroll container. There is a pointer. No. Select index, yes. Available item count, we do want that. We don't need this on ready. Wait. What is this? Okay, right. I know why that's there. I know why that's there. Because the items get added after the fact. Okay, add items. No, we don't even need that, do we? We just pass in a list straight to it. Selectable units. And that's an array of battle units. So we don't need this, I don't think. Startup is going to happen at first. And we are going to... We don't even need to do this. Wow. I guess we don't need startup at all. We might need it for some kind of animation, but currently, no, we don't. Handle up-down inputs, yes. Handle scroll, no. Handle select input, yes. Up-down. Let's replace that with direction inputs. Do I make it so you can only press left or right? This gets a little bit weird. For the most part, things are just going to be in a row. So let's just look at left and right. How about that? Up goes back, right goes forward. Okay, and everything else should be just the same. If nothing is... Oh wait, if either one is selected, we don't care. I mean, maybe we do. I don't know. Comment out for now. Current select index is greater than... Okay, available item is now selectable units dot size. And then we shouldn't need this yet. Don't need this. Do need that. Done. Okay, and we're done. We don't need this. Okay, so that shouldn't be possible, but you never know. Yeah, let's just bring this back out. Okay. You still don't like this? What do you not like about this? Oh, bar. Okay, done, done, process. Okay, now we need to actually position the cursor over the selected unit. At first, this is going to be spot on in the middle of the unit. We will do an offset. Update. Pointer position. It's going to be our function. All right, we have our pointer dot position equals. We need to unproject, I believe is what it is. We did that with our dialogue system. Somewhere. Here we go. Camera. How do we get camera? Here we go. Go ahead and grab all that. So we have a camera, and we can use that to get the coordinates of the actor. Actor dot position actor. We need the actor. Actor should be selectable units sub current select index dot actor, and then just put the pointer there. All right, let's take this combat menu that we have, combat target menu, copy the path of that, and then back in our battle manager where we are creating the target menu, use this new menu instead. Does this work? Not quite. Trying to assign value of type node 2D to a variable type sprite 2D. Oh yes, I guess that's a good point. You caught me. You caught me. And then also there is no add item Oh, yes, this needs to be, yeah, okay. Menu instance does not have this. Instead, menu instance dot selectable units equals our targetable enemies. Hey, oh, hang on, we got something here. We got something here. All right. Pow, pow, pow. Okay, and if we do it again. Now, why does it start on that one? Why does it start on that one? Wait, why does it? Current select index. Oh, because the current select index starts at -1, it should start at 0. Oh, that's interesting that you can index negatively. Pow. That is all right. Pretty slick. That's working. We'll get a real cursor at some point. That might be what we wind up doing for the next stream. Is just doing a lot of prettying things up. This stream has had a surprising amount of functionality work, which doesn't do super well sometimes. But we're making it happen. It would be nice to have a kind of a prettier battle arena and actual icons instead of all these placeholders everywhere. Okay, that little thing in the corner, I want that to... What do I want that to do? I want that to actually spell out the enemy's name and stats. Which means we need to actually create some stat blocks. Similar to how we have this for all of our moves, it would be handy cost. Cost is not always going to be this. Look at the placeholder, it looks pretty clean. Oh, thank you. It's a work in progress. Weirdly enough, the little placeholder sprite that Godot ships with when you start a new project, I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that. Good. It only lets me select the first one. We're doing it. Oh, we need to be able to cancel out to choose a different move. That's something too. Oh, these guys are slow walkers. They're not real enemies, so it's not even a problem. Also, we need to deduct mana, power, whatever. When a move that cost is going to be tricky because some moves may have a variable cost. Consider, if you will, Thousand Year Door had moves like some of the special moves that you could get with badges. If you equipped multiples of the same badge, the move would be stronger, but the cost would go up. I'm trying to think if there is a way to manage that effectively. Like maybe a rank variable of how ranked up a move is if you have multiples of it. And it could follow some kind of formula for increasing the cost. To do that, then, when we're selecting a move, cost this line right here. There we go. Now we can just replace this later on with something crazy, and also disabled or enabled. We need to select what enemies can be targeted. Let's just put a to do on that until we have an enemy that might not be targetable. Like right now, every attack always has something that can hit it because there's only like 2 attacks. But at some point, we're going to want to do something a little different. Check for targetable enemies. So right now, I don't really have a good way of testing that. For can use move. You can use it if stats, shared mana dot current is greater than or equal to the cost and is targetable. Okay, and then when you use that, it needs to have the same cost. So that's gonna be a little bit tricky. Maybe like a get move cost or something. I feel like we're adding this abstraction a little bit early, but it will serve as a good reminder. It'll leave the skeleton in place for where we are going to need to set that up. Battle moves dot get move cost of move, and then repeat that when the move is actually used. So when you select the move, run it, get the cost, and then deduct. So let's try that. Also, let's make less enemies because they are taking a long time in range 1. Oop. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, yes. We don't use this anymore, do we? No. Okay. Spin 2. Boom. Get spent. Attack. Pow. Still available. Now we should see next turn that becomes unavailable on the menu. Yes. Love it. Love it. And then we can only use that move. All right. Good. That is functionality. Okay. Let's think next piece. This target menu. I want to have like enemy name. This is gonna be a little bit wacky. I'm worried. Let's just get a decent font on here. 20, 40. Beautiful. Incredible. No, what we need is... Right now, there is no enemy name. Now that I think about it. So even when we do select him, like it's not gonna... We have nothing to read a name from because there is no such thing as a readable thing. So what do we want there? What do enemies need? So right now we've baked in a lot into the actor as far as animations. We've baked in a lot into the battle actions class that is handling, well, and battle moves. That is handling the actual list of things that happen when an enemy uses a move. So now we need some class that can store our list of actual enemies and give them a name and a list of flags, such as whether or not they're touching the ground, whether or not they are, immune to certain status effects, all this other stuff. That doesn't need to live on the actor portion of this piece, because the actor is merely just the collection of art and animation, and maybe sound effects as well. That's all self-contained. The game engine drives where that actor should go, when they should activate certain animations, but that actor does not have health. It can just as easily be an NPC on the overworld as it can be an actual enemy. So yeah, let's build out a structure to represent enemies. I guess for now we will put a script on the actual battle manager in the form of just a empty node. And we will call this enemy directory. And this same script could be recycled for kind of a menu catalog, maybe some other stuff I can't think of right now. But yeah, it's going to be similar to battle moves in that it's just going to be addiction. It's just going to have these variables representing each one, and it should just be a structure that's fairly simple to work with. We should consider being careful about null values. I think as the structure changes over time, it is not out of the question that we're going to miss updating one of these enemy types. Okay, so let's have test enemy as our start. All right, so test enemy name Farmer Frog. There he is. Actor. When we implement the entity, we just load it straight from there, and that's fine. Again, maybe some preloading makes sense in the future, or I need to look up if there's some kind of asynchronous loading we can do, anything like that. So far, it hasn't been an issue, but it will become an issue. Okay, so we'll build a battle unit off of that. Okay, it needs to have HP provided. So that's going to generate off of that. So just HP 2. Maybe 3 even. Base power, maybe? I think this could be an interesting idea, is a base attack or strength score. And the idea is that the move itself reads the enemy's strength, and certain moves may deal additional damage on top of that. But battle moves should define right now we queue up 1 damage to the target. We could instead, the unit could have a reference back to the enemy definition. I think that's a way to do it. We'll probably have some flavor text assigned here. I don't know what else. That could be enough right there. Okay, so in the same way that we've hit actions and everything else, we're gonna have enemy directory. Enemy type equals enemy directory dot test enemy. Enemy unit, we're going to use the enemy type dot actor scene is what we should call it. Wait a second. No, we have to load that first. So it's not a scene yet. It's just the scene directory. All right, so load it, instantiate it. Use enemy type.hp as both the maximum and current HP. And then enemy unit should also get a new property called enemy type, which is just a type. Don't worry about it yet. So we can type these things, but it gets hard to do. It's fine. Okay, so since the battle unit includes the type, so that means that now in the battle manager, when we new it up, enemy unit dot enemy type equals enemy type. Perfect. And now when we are doing a move, when we're looking for damage, we can use source dot enemy type dot strength. That will make it a lot better for fine-tuning how much damage enemies do. Won't be tied to the move itself. The move may modify it, like, it deals an initial strength damage followed by 1 additional damage on top of that, something like that. But yeah, that should work for now. Was there anything else we wanted to do over here? I don't think so. Move in front of. Does that take a speed? It does, and it defaults to 2. I'd like to bump that up to 3 for this guy. And his return to 5. Alright, does this work? Pow. It is a little faster. Okay. Cool. So now we have our enemy directory, which consists of 1 enemy. We will fill this out with more information like catalog, what else? Resistances, that's a big one. guess defense in general. Resistances are going to be interesting. For now, let's just have an empty dictionary. I've got a very detailed plan on how resistances to status effects will work. I think it is a system that is fairly intuitive, but we'll see. Everything's going to be based on coin flips. I got it all planned out here. All right, but yeah, there you go. Enemy directory. Now we have an enemy name. Oh, sorry. Actually, I do need to think about probably ending a little bit earlier than usual. Not yet, but a little earlier than usual. Need to wake up a bit early tomorrow. Okay, so in our combat target menu, we have a label that just says test right now. Let's change that so that enemy name label. It's a label that's at panel/label. Selected unit, we've got that. Enemy name label dot text equals current selected unit dot enemy type dot name. That should work. Farmer Frog, there it is. Okay, let's really go crazy now. Battle Manager, our initialize unit, instead of doing for I in range, let's have an enemy types list. Enemy type in enemy types, there we go. So now we can very quickly just tack on an extra test enemy. Never mind. Why not? Why not though? Oh, because I'm on the wrong file. Okay, Farmer Frog. Let's make a new enemy. And by make a new enemy, it's gonna be very easy. Test enemy 2. Regular frog. And he has more HP, just because. And now, if I say that we have a test enemy and a test enemy 2, hey, all right. And look, the name updates, hooray! The positioning is a little bit unexpected here. I mean, it's fine. So we'll have some kind of offset built in. It's fine as is. Yeah, that is good. And these guys should independently be able to do the same animations. Whoa. Yeah, great. It's beautiful. we still don't have a partner. We had some partner art. I worked on that last week and it did not turn out great. Not the way I wanted, so it's gonna need a little bit of retooling. Ah. I think the next thing to do might be timed hits, which is a scary thought. The basic logic, I know what I want to do. Of when you press the block button, start a timer. If you get hit while that timer is going, then you take one less damage, and it displays some kind of successful message. If you and then there's a cooldown after that timer expires before it triggers again. How to actually get that implemented into this setup? It's got to be during an enemy action. So maybe like maybe we can check the current battle event. Check the event queue and see if we are in the middle of enemy turn. How would we check if we're in enemy turn? It would be event queue 0. What happens when you do print event queue 0? Can you? Well, you get a node. Waiting for player turn end. And now it says enemy turn. Now it says enemy turn. So maybe you can do like event queue dot name? No. Callable does not have a name, but you can print it. What does callable have? What do we have on callable? Anything useful for that? Like I want to know which callable. I guess it's already bound. Get method. That looks promising. Print. Get method. Ah, that's it. So we would be able to check. Yep, there it is. If it's enemy turn. If our current event equals enemy turn, then we can block. That's easy enough. We can just access the event queue, and that should do it. I am thinking there will be another event in the middle between player and enemy. We need to have a special. I'm starting to rethink the name event, a battle event. like turn may be more. Well, turn doesn't really apply. Like it needs to be. What would we do? End up finalizing the name as? It needs to be the same thing as a unit's turn or processing of status effects or some sort of mid-battle dialogue that happens. It needs to account for all of those things equally. And event seems to work right now, but that makes me worry about like, oh, does mid-battle dialogue fit that sounds like an event, but maybe not. Banter as an event is something we need to watch for. Some specific battles will have dialogue that happens, when a certain threshold occurs. Like, when the player gets them down to X, then after the player and player partner have gone, but before the enemy has gone, in the middle of the round, an event needs to be inserted right there. And so that's going to be like right here. After the player turns stuff, but before each of the enemies have their turn, is some kind of process that checks to see, hey, is there some kind of special dialogues that needs to be taking place here? If so, go ahead and queue up those steps and wait for them to process. Wait for the player to get through all that. I saw it flash in the top corner. I don't like that. Need to make sure I move that. Like, as soon as I select an item, 1 frame. Yeah, it's up there for 1 frame. That's gonna bug me. Just get it out of here for now. No, not you. You. Yeah, just off scene. Just off screen. All this system of like these this state-based event system that we're working through, it's taken a long time to get it working, but it is allowing me to build these things out much more easily now that I've got it. Like all this stuff that's happening without player input, that's just kind of queuing up actions and then processing them in turn. It's working great, and I think it's actually going to make it very possible to actually build this feature-complete battle system. And I think a similar system will probably be useful for outside of battle, for cinematics. Maybe not like full-on cinematics, but like for the conversation system we built out, which is, again, the exact same logic. The annoying thing is that every one of these cases is slightly different, enough so that I think it's worth having the code separated. It's very simple code, so I don't think we're really losing out on anything by having it repeated in a few places. It's like we're not gonna build a whole new class to deal with for loops, even though we're repeating for loops in multiple places. It's that simple of a block of code. Grab the first thing from the list, wait until it's done, and then take it out of the list and do the next thing. That's the processor. I can't foresee that changing to a high enough degree where we need to remember to change it in all these different places. Yeah, action commands are going to be something I need to figure out still for attacks. Defense, by comparison, is going to be much simpler to deal with. Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good stopping place. We're going to update the list of things we can work on next time. Defense, action commands. On-screen enemy info panel. Ooh, enemy death. And enemy death segues nicely into actually ending a fight. You know, what does that look like? End fight. And then, by extension, start a fight. Strawberry jam maps. Nobody knows those anymore. Here's an E. Super useful. And I do have a few other things. Oh, badge system. Badge system. Badge system's gonna be interesting. That's all I can say about that. Some of the badges are gonna be straightforward in that they just add a move to the menu. Some of them are gonna be, I don't know. Like, some of them are gonna be that they will do one specific thing in a specific section of the code somewhere, and that's it. It's gonna be weird. There's gonna be, those are gonna be the two categories of it unlocks a move, or I have to go update some very specific bit of code somewhere to make the badge do anything. So that'll be fun. What was the other thing I wanted to put on the list? Oh, menu canceling. Like after I select something, I want to go back a menu. That is, I don't know actually. Because this is actually going to be like the menu is a tree structure. It's not just a linear thing. It branches out, and it's multi-step. So I can't just have a single variable storing what was the last menu you were at. Because you've got your main menu, and then like attacks, and then target. Or it could be, instead of that, maybe starting at the main menu, I instead want to go to items, and then select which of the enemies I want to use the item on. So we need to instead have this kind of tier, this array of menu history, and I somehow need to be able to. Let me look at this again. Yeah, when you create the targeting menu, you are passing in a parameter. So that's going to be something, is that, like, yeah, if you select an item, you probably will have to, in some cases, choose a target to use the item on. Well, I guess whenever you cancel, you typically won't be passing in a parameter. Like, parameter passing is typically the final menu. You never cancel to that point that I can think of. Dropzel. That's a good one. So I'm going to make a note of that. May not need to store parameters. Could be list of function names, maybe? It's certainly going to be worth some research. All right, where are we going? We got a little bit of time that we could do a little bit of a raid. Let's see, Panda, no voice. I mean, that's fine. We may still just go over to Panda anyway, despite him being in the middle of a race. Let me check a few other. They've stopped trying to push their little raid tool on me, so that's nice. Or maybe they're doing A/B testing. I feel like we got a lot done tonight, like more than usual. Oh my gosh, every time. All right, Apple TV, don't show again. Dismiss. It's not going to listen to me. It's going to show me again. It's going to keep showing me again. Love Apple TV. My favorite. Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. We will probably be doing more game dev streams Friday. Usual stream schedule is Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The current category is almost exclusively game dev, except some Sundays we are doing some D&D. I'm gonna go ahead and get the raid started. That's not the command. That's the command. Oh, they moved it into a command. There's raid browser as a command. Yeah, it's like every few months my category changes and it stays that way for a few months. Currently we are in the midst of a game dev spree and it has been a delight to get back into development because I'm not doing a whole lot of it at work. Work is mostly boring, non-coding things. No L's. But yeah, Friday more game dev. We're gonna continue working on our paper dabble. Upcoming changes to category probably not until October when the Factorio update drops. Maybe a little bit interspersed in the middle. We're going over to see Panda. Panda is doing a Final Fantasy IV randomizer race, which the Final Fantasy randomizers I've never been able to follow as well as like Link to the Past randomizers and stuff, but it's still good. Everybody, thank you for hanging out. I will see you next time. Have a good rest of the week. See ya.